Hello friends, this is Suryakant and today we are going to discuss about security in MVC. This is the part 1 video in the series. So let's move to our PPT. So in that part 1 we are going to discuss about authentication in MVC. So in MVC we have three types of authentication, and authentication, let me clear about that. What is the authentication? Authentication means to allow the user to access some of the specific area or deny the user. So authentication is basically basically meant for to give the access to the user to access the particular section, or we deny the particular user to not to access the particular section. So in MVC we have three type of authentication. One is form authentication, one is OpenID authentication, and Windows authentication. And this is the part 1 of the series. So in that video I can only tell you that overall concept about these three, but we can, as the series moves on, we can go deeper by deeper. What is form authentication and what is OpenID and what is Windows authentication. So form authentication is basically meant for internet apps, that it is specific to the specific to the web apps or web page which is run in internet. And here I written that internet apps, customizable cookies and SSL. Yes, form authentication is meant for your cookies, and we are using in form authentication SSL. So all types of website, whatever you are using day to day life, these are all developed using form authentication. They are using SSL, they are using form authentication. Form authentication is a one type of process in which you are validating the user in your particular web page. For example, your login page, through which you are validating the user, whether the user is valid user or not. That is form authentication. Let's move to the OpenID authentication. OpenID authentication is a authentication in which we are using third-party authentication to verify the user, whether the user is a valid user or not. Third party means we are not using our server to authenticate the user, but we are using for example Facebook, Google account to make the verify the whether the user is a valid user or not. So that is the third party authentication you are using. It may be Gmail account. If you are using Gmail account, the website tell us to verify your credential through the Gmail account or your Facebook account. So at the time of login, you can use the credential of the Facebook account or Gmail account, and you can log in to the particular website. That is called as OpenID authentication or your open authentication. And that is also basically meant for internet apps. And last one is the Windows authentication. Windows authentication is basically meant for intranet pages, internet apps. That means the internet. What is the difference between internet and intranet is that internet is basically, it's a global, it's a network related to across total whole globe. But intranet is run, the web application is run within the organization or within the local area network. So that is the intranet application. So whenever we are going for intranet type of application, then we can use the Windows authentication. So this video I only describe about overall concept about form authentication and OpenID and Windows authentication, but as I told you that moves whenever we are going to part 2 or part 3, we can go we can go more deeper about the concept. So let me start with, first we start with that Windows authentication. So let me start with Windows authentication first. So let me start my Visual Studio. I am using Visual Studio 2013. You can go for 2015 as well. So it's my Visual Studio Ultimate 2013. Let me create a new project. Sorry, it's not responding. Okay, so we are creating a new project. Okay, it's come. So I am using Visual Studio 2013 with .NET Framework version 4.5, and you can use also 2015. So I am giving the name as security part-1. Or else I can change the name. I can give the Windows authentication, and I can select, I click the OK. The authentication, which authentication we have. If you are using Visual Studio 2013 or above, you can get like that pop-up window to choose the authentication, and I can select Windows authentication and I click OK, and after that I can click OK button to create the project. And the project is successfully created. That our Windows authentication project is being creating. It's downloading all the files. Okay, so it is created. Now you are seeing that it is already created, that written your ASP.NET application. It is the readme file, and we have successfully created the our Windows authentication project. And after that, what I need to do, that I can directly run my project and see what is happening. And it asking me that to enter the username and password. This is due to that we are choosing that we are creating the project by using the Windows authentication mode. So the internet, what the user ID and password I need to provide, that it is my system user ID and password. So if I enter my system user ID and password, and my password, and when I click OK, and taking some time. See, now we get the page that ASP.NET, our home page. We are getting our home page, and here you check that name is coming. My whatever the system name, that system name it's showing hello home PC home. So that is my PC name. So you can check also here what is my PC name. Sorry, it is this the home, this is the PC name. So this PC name here it's showing. So how it's getting this PC name? It is getting the PC name from here. It can getting the PC name from layout phase. You can go to the layout phase, shared. Inside the shared phase you have a layout phase, and inside the layout phase you have that so inside the layout phase it is here, from here it is getting that my system name user.identity.name. Whenever we are going more deeper about form authentication, we can see how this user.identity will help us to identify more and more, give us more and more result about that user identity. So by this time we can check here that through this user.identity name it is getting the name of my PC. So you can see here that output of the result. So if you want that Internet Explorer by default open, it won't ask you that enter the user ID and password. So and one more thing I need to tell before I tell all the things, that you might not have faced this problem, that if you create new project and if you create a new project and you are running the project directly, you might not the Internet Explorer might not ask you to enter the username, user ID and password, because you already logged in your system. So it might not ask you for the credential, but if you might not ask you because the Internet Explorer, inside the Internet Explorer we have some called as Internet option. If you go to the Internet option, there is an option called as security, and inside the security, if your Internet Explorer is configured with local internet, if it is by default selecting coming with local internet, then local intranet, then it won't ask you to enter the credential. But if it is configured with internet, you can check also. After running your project, if it is asking for credential, then you can see. In my case, what happened, whenever I run the project, it will ask me to enter the credential. So in my system, in my Internet Explorer, it is configured as what? It configured as in security, if I go, it is configured as internet. Okay, so due to it is configured as internet, it is asking me to enter the credential. But if in your system it is configured as local intranet, it won't ask you to enter the credential, because you are already logged in your machine. So if I want to change it, that is much hesitate that to enter the user ID and password, although I am already logged in my system. So if I want to change it, that it won't Internet Explorer won't ask me to enter the user ID and password if I already log in through my system, then what I need to do, I select the local internet and I just click on site, and I include all the see here what is written, what are the checkbox available here. Include all local intranet sites not listed in other zones. Include all the site bypass proxy server. Include all the network paths. Okay, you might have to see, if you want to select, you might have to select all the checkbox. Otherwise, what can you do, if you don't want to select all the checkbox, because you don't want that all the you don't want that other IP address, other machine can access your machine, so you don't checked it. You can just click here advanced, and here you check, here you see that it coming with HTTP localhost. Okay, here it is coming as HTTP localhost. So what can you do? You just click here add. Whenever you click on add, the website is coming to the website is added to your IS server and configured as that you are this HTTP localhost is now configured with the intranet, that it recognize that the IIS is recognized now. Your localhost is not apart from your Windows, it is a part of your machine, and it is take the credential from your Windows directly. So if whenever you are clicking on localhost and click on add, it is automatically added to the website here, and you can close it, and you can click here OK, and you can click here OK. Let me see what happened. If I close, if I again check it, what does it changes it? Yes, the modified is happen. And if I click here OK, and I close it, and I go again and I close here, stop the debugging, and I again start debugging from the beginning. So what we expect, that it will open the home page directly. It won't ask me to enter the user ID and password. Yes, now we got. Now you got the home page directly. See, it is not asking me to enter the credential again, that to enter the user ID and password. It directly open my home page. So this is the thing you need to understand, that how the Internet Explorer is configured with the Visual Studio and IIS to asking you the credential of the credential to enter into the web page. So in that internet option only you get all the things inside security. So in the local internet you can add your local host inside the website, so that you can so that it won't ask you for the credential. Apart from that, friends, we have the one more thing here. What is that more thing is that if we check web.config, in that web.config file we have a authentication mode. See here it is authentication mode is there. It is one type of authentication mode is there. So if we see here, there is authentication mode is there. Okay, this is the authentication mode. What is it? It is selected as Windows. But if you are not selected, why it is showing as Windows by default? Because we are at the time of creating the project, we have chosen the authentication mode as Windows authentication mode. If we create the project by using individual user account, then it will show the what is the authentication mode. If you don't know what are the authentication mode available, then our best friend is our Visual Studio. It will show you all the authentication mode. Whenever you are press control and enter key, then it will show all the authentication what we have. So by default, if you creating any project, it will show you that form authentication mode. Okay, but due to we are created the project by using Windows authentication, it is showing that we have that Windows authentication mode. So this is the thing you need to understand, that how the authentication being is doing by our .NET application inside the Visual Studio, that it is using web.config file, and inside the web.config file it is configured as Windows authentication mode. So that's all about our video, that how you are using Windows authentication, and we can go more detail about that other authentication. This authentication mode is very much simple, and you can use this directly whenever you are using intranet type of application. Don't go with Windows authentication mode for internet, because it will not work. Windows authentication mode is specifically designed for the intranet application, that the application which is run in a specific local area network. In that only we can go for the Windows authentication mode. Okay friends, this is all about your Windows authentication mode, and we can go more deeper about that, about other authentication mode in the later series of video. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe our channel for more updates, and if you want to connect with me, then just visit my blog and give your feedback and try to learn more and share more. Thanks friend, have a great day.